Two bad men. Really bad men. Hi, I'm Oliver the Ricketts.
I am Brittany Spear.
I am Marco or Bernardo.
We're about to go see Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys for Life. Actually, I don't think
I think it's just Bad Boys.
This is Bad Boys 3, isn't it?
I think it's just Bad Boys for Life.
I thought Bad Boys for Life was the...
No, yeah, it is called Bad Boys for Life for sure, so there may not be a 3 in there.
Is there like a...
It's very important.
Is there like a 3 hidden in there?
3.
I like when they like hiding...
Actually, at the end of the movie, Jaden Smith comes in, and he's the third bad boy. Yeah, I hate Michael Bay passionately. But I've always really liked the Bad Boys movies. They're the stupidest shit that I like, for sure. Bad Boys 2, there's a scene where 2 rats fuck. It doesn't progress the plot at all, but I love it.
Doesn't need to.
So I'm really excited that we're getting a Bad Boys movie with no Michael Bay. However, not a big fan of this sequel trend years and years later, so that makes me a little nervous, and it's a January movie, but the reception's been pretty good. And I just like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith together, so any excuse to put him in the movie together, especially as these characters, I'll show up and see it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think the one thing this movie has going for it is the fact that Will Smith does not look like he's aged in too much in between.
Don't worry, Martin Lawrence.
I was going to say Martin Lawrence has done the aging for the both of them. He does not look great, but that's bound to happen.
Yeah, I'm excited. I liked those movies a lot, a fair amount. But I'm also excited to see something kind of new from them, especially since Michael Bay is not directing it. I'm also excited to see my girl V Hudge in it. I love her.
My biggest hope is that the focus is on the two of them and the friendship, because that's what makes it work. I am a little concerned that we have this team of younger people working with them. That's a huge trope in a lot of like whatever sequels, and I just hope that the focus really doesn't stay there. Vanessa Hudgens is fine, she can carry herself. Will Smith shows up in this movie as Deadshot and is the villain. Martin Lawrence's character from Beach Bum has to stop him.
He's in Beach Bum?
Oh, he's in Beach Bum, Captain Whack. Hi everybody, we just got out of Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys for Life, that is what it's called. Yep. The acting's not great, the plot is super convoluted, and it goes on way too long. But that's not to say that I didn't have a great fucking time with this, because I really did.
You could have just been describing any of those movies.
100% consistent.
It is a Bad Boys movie.
If I was looking for quality, I would have gone and seen 1917 again. I wanted Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, though, and there's a lot of that in this movie, so I was happy.
I mean, there's obvious problems that I have with this movie. Overall, you know, you pay to see Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, and you do get that. Did I get as much as I wanted? No. Because I would literally watch, 3 hours straight of them just doing shit together. You know, the movie did its job in being a Bad Boys movie. But there are definitely changes I would have made.
Yeah, I mean, as I was watching it, I'm like, wow, a lot of this is really just not good. I'm still engaged, and I want to know what happens, and it's still, like, fun. That's pretty much all I expected.
Well, it's like the definition of a guilty pleasure. I could objectively go through this thing and tear it apart. The whole first hour is all tropes that describe the same 2 plot elements. Even Will Smith and Martin Lawrence separated way too much in this movie. But the parts where they get to just hang out and be funny and blow shit up are fucking awesome. And there's about a whole movie's worth of just that.
Yeah, I would say that was really be my only complaint, is that the things that work, there's not enough of it. You know, it's sprinkled throughout the movie, but it's not really like...
And even plot-wise, the plot of Martin Lawrence retiring and Will Smith not wanting to retire, I think, would have been enough for this movie. You didn't need to take it a step farther. I actually think that story really works for what this series is. Yeah. And I think where the movie starts to run into trouble is when it starts throwing in twists about who's who. I don't want to spoil anything, I guess.
In a third movie of a series, you just start trying to introduce things that happened that were supposed to have happened way back before the first movie that were never mentioned in 1 or 2, and now we're mentioning these things, and they're supposed to be like these really essential plot points, a little bit too little too late. Like, you know, we're kind of just throwing that in there. We're just going to put this in there so that we can have a smoother wrap up at the end.
The cliche, action movie stuff, which is not an issue because that's just the type of these movies are. But then it just takes it a different way, I guess, to try to make it seem more credible or more serious or something, and it just doesn't really sit too well.
Where these movies tend to fail most is when they try to take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And not saying that this one does, but there are definite times that you're like, okay, like, it's not that serious.
It does stop to take itself seriously, but then it's also very good about having somebody come in and literally tell the audience, no, this is stupid. The Martin Lawrence lines in the movie are so needed for how the movie goes and how it folds out.
Yeah, his comic one-liners are really help.
That's why it succeeds with audiences, because that's what people are really coming to see. They're not coming to see this really serious sequel.
It's not a riveting crime drama.
No, I'm sorry. It's not like some of the Fast and the Furious movies where they really do take themselves seriously, and you're just seriously. This is a fucking joke, right?
Like those are everybody goes oh, well, it's just a cartoon. Why can't you just embrace it? Because the movie doesn't embrace it.
Right.
If the movie sits here and tells me that it's a cartoon, then I like cartoons. The movie starts with Will Smith driving a car backwards down a Hollywood street and just comically, whatever it is, Miami.
They've always been in Miami.
Comically missing shit on the street, and it's played up for laughs. And that's when you know, okay, somebody understands what they have to do here. Going back to those plot issues, though, it's not even that it just gets introduced in this movie. It's that the complications to the plot that should have been there the whole time get introduced in the third act of this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So
We're watching, you're watching a different movie until the end of the movie, and then there's a new plot that we have to tackle.
That they packed into the last 25 minutes. Yeah.
Everything.
Right.
Honestly, I feel like that movie's kind of sprinkled throughout, but it definitely hits the most in the final act. There's parts where they just try to fake you out with things where it's clearly you're not going to believe it. They try to allude to the fact that Mike died. Oh, yeah, they killed Will Smith in the first 30 minutes of the movie. Sorry, guys, this is a Martin Lawrence movie now.
Shit like that is it's so unintentionally funny. When they pan over to Will Smith sitting in the wheelchair at the wedding. I was losing my shit over that because it's not a joke.
It was so
but
obviously
something
a wedding
about
too,
it, right? Something about it is just funny. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the inclusion of the Ammo Squad was fine. I had no problem with that. They were exactly what I expected them to be. Vanessa Hudgens was fine. And then the big guy with the tech guy, also good. I think they were all really, really well done as far as typical action movie backup.
And not intrusive to what was really going on, which I was worried about. Yeah. Fuck Michael Bay. Everybody always says yeah, Michael Bay's a shitty director, but his action is top of the line. You can't find anybody else who can do it. This is better than the action in both Die Hard. In both Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2. If you look at it at least from how it's framed and how easy it is to follow, it's leaps and bounds ahead of Michael Bay's action. And for really long action sequences, I was engaged for most of it. I was tuned out maybe for a couple minutes here and there,
I think I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. I think the first and second one, I think the chases were better in the first and second one. I think what was happening was it was a bit obviously big stuff, and in this one, I feel like up until the final act action scene, I really didn't care for most of what was happening. I feel like it wasn't that big. The nightclub scene was decent, but there really wasn't much action there. But I do think the final scene in that was on par to the other Bad Boys movies.
It does succeed, though, in being plenty violent, which is the other thing I think people were worried about, was that you're going to lose the Michael Bay violence. I think this is bloodier, and I think it also uses the violence a lot more effectively. There's a couple things in the movie that are just shockingly violent, and not to where it takes you out, but to where it's no, that had an effect. That was, for a fucking Bad Boys movie, that was for the story. I needed that.
There's one scene specifically that is a very shocking
It's a jolt.
Scene. Yeah, it's a little side scene, not too important, not really much plot development, and then boom, something happens, and you're just okay, shit just kind of got real here.
I give this a really, really enthusiastic C+. So about on par with the other Bad Boys movies. They're big guilty pleasures for me. I enjoy them. This movie's too long, though, and I would change a lot, but I still had a lot of fun with it. So, C+, but also a thumbs up.
For me, I'm hovering on the C+ area for me, but I think overall, the chemistry between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith are what bump it up to a B- for me. I have a lot of issues with it, but you know, at the end of the day, it's still a fairly fun movie to watch. Also, Vanessa Hudgens is gorgeous.
I second that. I'm gonna also give it a C+. I felt like it was pretty middle of the road. Like, I enjoyed it at times. I thought it was funny at times. Is it something I'm ever gonna really want to watch again? No. I had a lot of like technical issues with certain things and like logic issues with things, but other than that, I enjoyed it. I was entertained. It's by no means a bad like movie. No. I wouldn't say no, don't go see it, but I also wouldn't say go out and see it right now. It's
right.
Kind of like middle of the road. Okay, you got nothing going on? Yeah, sure, go see it. You don't want to see anything else? That's fine.
If you're already going to see it, have fun.
We just saw Bad Boys 3.
Bad Boys for life.
For life.
Bad
Three
Boys,
bad boys,
Bad Boys
having 3 lives,
Three.
but it's together. They hold hands.
Yes.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
No cops tonight, guys.
No cops for Bad
The
Boys.
cops were on the screen.
Thankfully. Good night.